Hello everyone. Our group video documentary is about teaching every child culturally responsive teaching in urban schools. What does it mean to teach all kids fairly? Is fairness giving everyone the same lesson or giving each child what they need to thrive? In many urban schools, students bring rich languages, customs, and stories, but when the curriculum only reflects one culture, usually white, middle class norms, they don't see themselves. This sends a quiet message: you don't belong here. This disconnect makes learning feel distant, but there is a better way, one that sees student identity as a strength. It starts by teaching differently with culture in mind. Culturally responsive teaching isn't just a strategy, it's a mindset. It values every student's background. It transforms classrooms into spaces of connection and belonging.
Culturally responsive teaching. What is the problem? Schools often ignore students' culture. The curriculum being taught in schools is very one sided and limited. There seems to be no room for the stories of individuals who look differently than those in the books we have grown up reading and learning about. Our differences make us human. Let's learn from one another instead of tearing each difference apart. So often, conversations on race lapse into divisiveness. But engaging divergent perspectives is central to struggling productively with race categories rather than treating them as fixed or simple identities. What is culturally responsive teaching? The politics of education involves power struggles over three important questions. What knowledge is most worth teaching? What are the best instructional methods and school organization for teaching this knowledge? What should it cost to disseminate this knowledge? And basically, a culturally responsive teacher is an educator who sees the student for all the layers that they are. What is culturally responsive teaching? The politics of education involves power struggles over three important questions. We had previously gone over them, but this is also another point that I would like to make. Having respect for the whole human being is something that is emphasized within the classrooms I teach. When a student is participating and others are trying to have a conversation over the student that participated, it's a straight no for me. I stopped the student who raised their hand to participate and I expressed how I cannot believe there are others talking over another student. I do not understand that. I even further show the perspective of this classroom belongs to all of us. We are sharing the space. Be mindful. Basically, showing them that, hey, not everyone is going to express themselves the same or look the same. That still gives you no right to not value and respect that individual as a whole human being.
So this portion will be about the differences between New Zealand and America when it comes to the schooling, and also to for us to watch a video and to be able to review it and see what might be the plan for this child and what initiative can we do to be able to promote that diversity inside of the classroom. The students in New Zealand and America are completely different. The methods of New Zealand have a holistic approach and allow students to learn more naturally. Compared to the US, there is more standardized testing and structured approach to the learning that does prepare them for future testing, but does not provide them with that natural learning process, that process that will come naturally with them being introduced certain materials that they're not familiar with and being able to explore New Zealand provides that opportunity their to their children and to their students. So there's going to be a video that's going to be presented. Here it is.
Mom, my shoelaces.
You can do it.
Please.
Okay. 2 bunny ears, loop around and pull together. Got it?
I don't want to be here.
James, I want you to pick an artwork you like and tell me about it. Art is a wonderful thing and I want to enjoy it with you, okay?
Okay.
What do you see?
See?
Okay.
Before you towers a terrifying scene of war. Thousands of forces who break the grassy ground in a cavalry charge. Soldiers sporting blood-red uniforms ride with valor in a fearless resolve to attack. Some blow military bugles, others raise their voice in a war cry. Mighty silver blades are exalted above their heads. Leading up front, a commander on a mighty white stallion. The beast's eyes were wide and ferocious, every muscle and vein pulsing through his skin. The commander rides the steed high, his face blazing with heroism, but still in his eyes a glimmer of fear. For at the front line, survival is not guaranteed.
I'm so proud of you.
Can you describe that one to us over there?
Based on the video, how might we be able to create a lesson plan to match his learning style? There are components of his life that should be considered. To step number one, his mother does not have her sight, so his style of learning might be a little bit different from the other students. So we're gonna make a quick connection to the reading. The article title Reflections of a Citizen Teacher, it states that my plan was to have access to these students' classrooms to study their literacy practices, and then to use my background as a writer and teacher to improve in whatever way I could. Their experiences and opportunities within what I knew to be a predominantly white environment. So being that this child, this child is also white, but we have to understand that everyone has a different learning style. Now, when she stated white environment, that could have many in different interpretations. So we don't want to assume that this is what she meant when she was referring to the children. So how might that citizen teacher view this child that has something spectacular of putting pictures into actions and creating his own imagination? He has so many other layers to him, and how would that be what accommodation will we be able to provide to him? We must be able to ensure that we match the needs of the students while creating a diverse learning environment to promote inclusivity. So it's important to not judge by the minority skin color or who they are, but to understand the actual learning style of the students.
So, what can we do as teachers to help apply this and implement culturally responsive teaching in our classrooms? Firstly, teachers can move beyond the strict, rigid curriculum that's heavily based on standards and content in order to include activities in our classroom for our students that include diverse perspectives and give them a different view of the content or the information that they're learning than they might come into the classroom already having. Another solution is focusing on actual student learning. We've seemed to stray away from a focus on learning in the system of education to this focus on standardized testing, test preparation, and scores. So if we can help emphasize to students that this is a learning process and it may not be linear, but it's something that they're going to go through different stages of learning and understanding content and understanding the material rather than just assigning them a letter grade or a level or a percentage, and then that is what they internalize, and they don't really understand where they are in the learning process. The third solution, which I think is very important, is helping students to value their own cultural identity, um, while at the same time teaching them and giving them new tools and different viewpoints from different cultures. And in this weekend in the classroom, use activities that allow students to actually experience or engage with different cultural ideas or different cultural practices.
When we honor all cultures, students don't just learn, they grow confident and proud. They feel seen, they feel safe to be themselves. Inclusive teaching starts with listening. When we teach through students' cultures, not around them, we build schools where all kids can thrive.